It happened again. This past Saturday, the earth shook in the small Caribbean nation of Haiti. A 7.2 earthquake rocking the foundation of a country still reeling from COVID, an assassination of their president, Hurricane Matthew in 2016, and now another earthquake just 11 years after one that decimated large parts of the country. And now with a tropical storm on the horizon, many wonder how much more the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere can take. I'm joined by Krista Germeil, who lives in Jeremy, close to the epicenter of this weekend's quake. Thank you for joining us today, Krista.
Absolutely. I'm really grateful to be here today with you all.
First of all, how are you and your family doing?
We are good. I think probably if you asked us that question maybe 24 hours ago, even, you might have received a different answer. But last night we were able to get some rest finally, and we have not felt any aftershocks, which is probably one of the hardest parts of the earthquake mentally, is just not knowing when the next shake is going to come. But in the last 24 hours, it's been pretty calm and peaceful here in that sense. So we're doing pretty well. We're doing what we can to get out there and help our community and keep our family healthy too. My kids, I have two young kids that are 3 and 5, and they're a little scared. They don't quite know what's going on, but we're working really hard to keep them safe too, and to let them know that they're safe here.
You talk about helping your community. Your husband, Mark Donald, was supposed to join us, but he had to go out and help the community. Tell us what has been happening during the weekend. We're seeing pictures of a lot of people being evacuated from your area. I know Mark Donald has been playing an active role in that. Can you share that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we immediately, as soon as the earthquake happened, we connected with an organization in Port-au-Prince called Hero Medical Emergency Organization, and they have been like literally heroes on the ground here in Jeremy. They were some of the first people to get here because they're already based in the country, and they sent some first responders and EMTs to help in the hospital. And so our family, we recently purchased a 15-passenger van to use as a transportation company, kind of to bring in funds for our organization and our family. And as soon as the earthquake hit, we took out the seats of our van, and it became a makeshift ambulance for our community and for Hero. And we have been transporting patients for the last 48 hours that have head wounds or open fracture wounds that cannot be operated on in Jeremy, and transporting them into the capital where the hospitals are better and they receive better care.
Wow. Tell me about what you're seeing. As you talk about many people with head wounds, I saw one picture and you shared a story of a young girl that you and your family have kind of just taken under your wings, who also suffered a head wound and some other injuries. What are you and your husband seeing on the ground when it comes to that?
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of injuries, not necessarily coming from buildings falling, because here in our town, surprisingly in Jeremy, there were not a lot in the town, in the center town. There were not a lot of homes that were destroyed. Some older buildings that were already poorly structured have fallen here. But what we are seeing is people that were injured by walls falling down, or injured by a lot of the children that we have pictured and that you have seen have come from faraway countrysides where parts of the mountains have crumbled and fallen on them, or big rocks have rolled. And that specific girl that you mentioned, she was in the garden with her family, in their family garden, and a large rock rolled off of a mountain and killed 3 people, and she was the only one that survived out of the 4. So that is what happened to her. A rock fell directly on her head.
We'll be praying for her. So, Krista, I've also heard that some of the streets into Jeremy have been blocked. I know that there has been a lot of gang activity in the area. Tell us about what you're seeing and what you've been experiencing even before the earthquake hit.
Yes, the major gang activity is more concentrated in the capital, but the effects that we are having here in Jeremy is that the roads are being blocked. The main road in and out of our city is blocked and very dangerous to pass through because of the current gang activity. And so our resources are limited. We are about maybe even 2 months into a gas crisis here, where it is very difficult to find gas and get gas here in our town. And also having food prices are soaring pretty high, as it is more difficult for trucks to get here and deliver food also to the people. So we do have some food here, but the prices are very high, especially for the average Haitian to afford.
So how are you able to get the injured out of the town?
We we use our van and take the injured people to the airport, and the helicopter comes there and picks them up. But we are actually working with other organizations here. Even yesterday, we called another organization and said, do you have gas reserves? Please, if you do, can we have 10, 12 gallons for our van, so that we can continue to transport patients? And they said yes, and they sent us 12 gallons. And we're kind of working back and forth with anybody who has reserves of gas at this point to see what we can do to get that van continuing to go.
Many people are asking the question, Krista, how much more can Haiti take? How do you feel living there?
Yeah, I mean, we were sitting with a group of medical workers this morning at our kitchen table drinking coffee and kind of talking about how there just really is no stability here. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, obviously, and so that is a very difficult place to live in and to be in. But honestly, it is the reality of the Haitian people for their lives. I mean, right now Haiti's been in the spotlight because of all that's happening in this country, but the instability here has been here for a very long time, and the Haitian people are incredible survivors. They have a resilience that, I mean, I can't even put into words. They just pick up and keep going. So it's difficult and it's hard, for sure. And one thing comes after another and another and another. But I don't know, somehow in a month from now, the Haitian people are going to keep going. They always do.
It's true. I've been there twice, and it has captured my heart because of that, because the people are resilient. And even though there is so much suffering around, they are some of the most beautiful and hospitable people that you will ever meet. So I absolutely agree. Krista, I know that you are a person of faith. How has your faith been helping you and your family through this really hard time? And not just specifically the earthquake, but as you described, just all of the instability politically. You look around what's been happening. How have you held on to that faith?
We have a great community of people of faith that are surrounding us here in Haiti and from the States. We actually belong to a local church here that is called Karkali Christian Church, and they are an incredible group of Haitian believers that just have strong faith in who the Lord is and His faithfulness. So we are grateful to be surrounded in that community. And I don't know I would say, man, it's maybe been a year. A year ago, the Lord really spoke to my husband and I and told us that a storm is coming. But if we anchor in and bear down, after the storm, we're going to see God's glory here in this nation like never before. So I think that word we've really held on to and clung to that word because we believe in God's word and we believe that He's faithful to do what He's promised. So I think that word has really helped us in times when it's been difficult to continue pressing on.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
As this tropical storm, again, we don't know, it might divert and miss Haiti. And we're praying that happens. And
Yes.
I've heard of landslides as well. People, I hear, are afraid to sleep in their homes right now because of the aftershocks. How can we be praying for Haiti at this moment with so much uncertainty on the horizon?
Yes. Yes, we actually, our entire neighborhood slept outside last night. We actually were inside of our home, our family, with the doors open, but the majority of our neighborhood is still sleeping outside for sure. I think praying specifically for Haiti, for Jeremy, for La Caille, which is the town next to us that actually received more damage than we have here. I think praying for appropriate help. I think praying for peace, especially peace in the minds of the Haitians and the people here affected by the earthquake. I think fear is a real barrier after an earthquake, because you just don't know when the next one's coming. You don't know what to expect. And so I think we've been definitely praying for peace in people's minds and in their bodies here. And I think just praying for the communities to come together. And like I mentioned before, the Haitian people are very resilient people, and they have a heart to help each other out, whatever, at any cost. And so just praying that the organizations that come in would work with the people instead of for the people. I think that's something we've really been praying lately, that to embrace the communities here and really use the resources on the ground here with the Haitian people included to help each other get through this.
All right. Thank you so much, Krista Germeil, for joining us today.
You're welcome.